Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Like, no, seriously though. How far out do you think we are from a rapper recording a suicide mixtape?
Who's to say that Tupac already didn't?
Wow. Well, okay, so, I mean, to take that into interpretation, Mac Miller's last album could have been interpreted as a suicide mixtape. I mean, the single that he put out literally before he OD'd was called Self-Care, and he was digging himself out of a grave. I'm not trying to say that predictive programming is a thing. I'm just trying to say that life is stranger than fiction sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
alright, so we were saying, like,
we
were saying right before Off Wax, we were like, David Bowie made, like, death art.
Yeah, because that was your answer, right? Your answer was like David Bowie made a death mixtape, and I was like, okay, I guess technically...
Like I said, Lazarus was a music video filmed 2 weeks before he died.
Yeah, so I guess we can count that. I mean...
Also weird,
we can
Prince
take that
recorded
into
the song
consideration.
Baltimore like 6 months before he died.
Oh, I don't count that one, though. I mean... So,
Prince wrote songs about everything.
You said that death art isn't really a thing, and Bowie...
Not commonly done, no.
No, not anymore, right? Like, I do feel like during the Victorian era, and whenever Mary Shelley and them existed, you know, back in the days of Lord
I feel like
Byron.
Bowie's last album was... It wasn't like the screams of a banshee being drawn back into hell. It was basically the experiences that he was going through at that time. Because the thing is, that album still had like some rock songs on it.
Yeah, because, I mean, in those fleeting moments, right, you kind of want to remember the things that brought you to life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to be super poetic, but in that moment, upon reflection of what it was that really, like, brought you warmth as you were slipping into the cold embrace.
Maybe he also wanted to deliver a message. Like you said, off Wax, if I was going to kill myself, you damn well know there'd be a suicide note.
Not a note. A memoir.
A manifesto.
A mixtape. That's how we got to this discussion, right? Because it was like we landed on a mixtape. You would definitely 13 Reasons Why this shit.
I would 13 Reasons Why, and I'd probably still write the manifesto.
And there'd be a whole, like, prequel for the mixtape.
Yeah, that would be my memoir.
Before you listen. And then for your listening pleasure.
But you were like,
oh,
yeah,
this is
if you showed up to the crime scene,
wow, this
if you
is
showed
dark.
up to the crime scene and they said there's no suicide note, you would be like, that's bullshit. He was murdered.
Yep, and I'm letting y'all know now from the jump. Here we go. I got it on recording. I would never. Here's what I would do. Totally hop on the bottom of a fucking barge and sail to Saudi Arabia and start my shit all the way over.
You know what would
Nigga,
make
you will never find me tossed up with no bottle of pills. You won't find me hanging from no rope. I would never put a motherfucking gun in my beautiful mug. Why would I do that crazy shit?
You know what would make me... You know what would,
See, I'm sorry, that was wrong. It's not crazy.
You know what would push
be
me to that
crazy
point,
for
though?
me.
You know what would push me to that point, though?
What?
All these death threats that we get are rising up and crashing through, and y'all motherfuckers are going to 141 characters, so fuck off. It's too much for me.
You beat me to it. I feel like you shoehorned that one in there. I don't appreciate it.
I think you were real close trying to process how to get there right then at the same time, though. And you're actually just kind of a little salty that I got there first.
I am a little salty. That
You got there, like, you set it up the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm like, alright, Doc's setting it up. But I need to try to sneak in there sometimes.
Look. So, death art.
Death art.
Edgar Allan Poe. Right.
Requiem by Mozart. That's like a perfect example. He never actually finished it. Oh, this is the second time I could drop Requiem Lacrimosa.
I'm trying to think of some other modern day examples of death art.
Besides Bowie.
Besides Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie's not dead yet. He's far from. Also, he's very different than his stage persona. He's like a vegan.
No, I'm saying the things that he make could be. I mean, if we're not counting it as murder porn, then is it death art? I don't.
I think what I'm talking about when it comes to death art is art that's produced as someone knows they're going to die.
See, I'm thinking death art is the...
Not necessarily a suicide art.
No. I'm thinking death art is, like, not the appreciation of death, but the
progress of.
Like, no, the observing of death. Like, so
someone that's dying doesn't have to make death art.
Exactly. No. You can make art about death without dying. But I guess if you're dying and you make death art, then that makes it
That's
extra.
what I'm thinking more about.
That's just meta. Like,
alright, so let's call death art about death, and we'll say art that's made as a result of somebody...
That's just meta death art.
I'll call it art of mortality. Because people, when they are thinking about the shuffling off of this mortal coil, they're probably going to be processing things a little bit differently, which means that their creative process is going to be rather different.
So do you think their creative process is enhanced because they have no fucks left to give?
Not enhanced, altered, changed.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, so like, what about like Dia de los Muertos shit? Like all the sugar skulls and like the Mexican culture. I mean, like, yeah, that part of the Mexican culture.
A lot of that, I think, is consistent remembrance of those who have fallen before them.
So does that not count as death art, though? If
I feel like that counts more as like reverential art.
But isn't that still part of death?
No,
though?
because it's from the living drawing on memories.
Of
as
the
far
those that have moved on. See, to me, death art is the...
Somebody who is in current state of healthy living cannot understand the thought process of the artist knowing they're going to die, because the healthy living don't know what that feeling is like. They can appreciate the art.
I agree with you to an extent, right? But I don't think that necessarily, because like I said, to me, death art is like my physical representation of me mentally processing death and what death becomes, or what becomes death. Like, so remembering those that have passed on through death and expressing those feelings in art, is that not death art?
Well, okay, here's something I just thought of. Say you are a terminal cancer patient. I'm sorry, everybody, but we're 8 minutes into death art. This is
that's how we started shit off today.
Think about somebody who's been told they have 2 months left to live, right, and they are going to create some kind of art. If David Bowie spent 16 hours a day of his last 2 or 3 months to make this album, you tell me he does not have something much more intentional and much more powerful if he's like, I'm gonna spend the last 2/3 of my life left to make this?
So, this brings me back to my original argument, though, which is, how far out do you think we are from somebody making a mixtape knowing that they're going to kill themselves and making that part of the mixtape? Because they always say rappers blow up, bigger after they're dead. Like, look at Pop Smoke.
It's 13 Reasons Why with a soundtrack.
How far off do you think we are from that?
How well does this Chris Brown Tory Lanez mixtape do?
How far off do you think we are from somebody murdering their friend and calling it, like, interpretive art?
Not that far off, considering the band Mayhem did a suicide to turn it into death art.
Exactly.
Boom!
That's my point.
You were trying to lead me into that for a while, weren't you?
Not necessarily, but
The thought did pop in your head and you wanted to try it. Yep. So,
that
yeah.
you're bringing up
I think
Mayhem.
we brought up this legend before, but the band Mayhem, the lead singer actually killed himself with a shotgun. And his suicide note, all it said was, "I'm sorry for all the blood." The guitarist from that band then picked out all of the skull fragments. Well, he took the picture because you can find the album cover was the guy's suicide scene.
Don't go look for that picture.
But
if
I mean,
you
it's
haven't
available.
seen it already, don't go look for it. It's not that gruesome, but it's not.
Before he called the cops, he took the picture and then collected skull fragments to turn them into necklaces to send to musicians who deemed worthy. And if this is not the most white privilege shit, I don't know what is.
Now,
the dude removed evidence from technically a crime scene.
Okay, that part, yeah. I was gonna say, but, like, I don't think white people get to claim, murdering themselves, killing themselves in the name of art. I feel like this.
Kurt Cobain murdered himself. Quote unquote.
Oh, it's not funny. Why would you make me laugh at that? Jesus Christ.
Because my phrasing is hilarious.
Why are we talking about death?
You want to know how Kurt Cobain gathers his thoughts?
How?
With a squeegee.
Cut!
Cut! Okay, we're back.
Oh, you felt the need to turn on after that, huh?
For the pod, sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Oh, so we can hear my black conspiracies? Oh, so I have a...
Let's talk about black stuff!
It's not really, it's not...
Is it really 20 generations?
It was 23 generations.
That's fucking insane.
But that was also in the fucking early 1800s, 1700s.
That's talking Nagasaki, Hiroshima, not radioactive anymore type of fucking time.
Well, that's how racist niggas was. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about early racist genetic theory.
Yeah, but the amount of halftime for that is for Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
That's part of why the 3/5 rule is the way it is. Hot take. A lot of y'all think y'all got Native American in y'all DNA, but don't know what $5 Indians are.
Guilty! As we just said earlier, so my sister had her 23andMe done, and I am 99.8% Irish/British Isles. In that order, specifically. And 0.2% Native American. And I was trying to run the math, and we're going 20 generations back.
Okay, but
at that point, Elizabeth Warren, yo holla.
But it's 2% though,
No, it's 0.2%.
Even worse.
I know, but if we're going 20 generations here, I thought it would be okay, 3 generations away.
But 0.2% generation, 20 generations away would still mean your Grady greatest great grandma only had was maybe a fucking octoroon or something like that. A lot of y'all gonna be what the fuck is an octoroon?
The point! That's ridiculous!
But you're talking about genetic theory and
Well, I'm talking math here. If they're saying that it's 20 generations before you're now considered 21 generations away before you're no longer considered black,
it was
that half-life is insane.
It was 23, but that's also
even more insane.
That's also old race, and it's not that you weren't considered black after a certain point. Of course, nobody would look at you and be I think he's got some Negro.
Absolutely not.
No, but I mean, to qualify for certain
I do have swag,
things.
though.
Yeesh.
Hold on, cut that. Swag is actually apparently a somewhat problematic term for some reason. I found that out.
What?
Or actually, maybe it's just overused. What? You know what I also found out? You know what I did?
Maybe.
You know what? You know what I actually found out? And I thought about it when I was listening to J&J. They no longer say players are shipped from one team to another. And then there
Whoa.
was, and I thought about it for like the first time there, and I was
Right.
like, oh, that's why we don't say that.
And that is you checking your privilege.
I learned something.
It's not okay. Like it's just
You want to give a
no. Because look, I can hear people going right now. Oh my God, the PC police! Like there they go again. Wee woo, wee woo. Now you can't say players are being shipped from one team to another without offending the darkies. Like,
All right, Uncle Ruckus.
stop. Like no, right, but inherently. No, you wouldn't.
You know
think
who?
that
You
shit.
know who would be the loudest about this?
Who?
Alyssa Milano.
Deep sigh. No, like feels ridiculous when you say it out loud. But when you say it out loud, you should probably hear the inherent like problematic nature of talking about human beings being shipped from one place to another. In the context that it's being spoken in, sure, it feels a bit ridiculous to be like the players are but
I get it now. Like, I used to say it without even thinking. I'm like, oh yeah, they shipped them over there. And now I'm like, oh, ship. Sending people.
when majority of the NBA is of a certain background, maybe, you know, connotation and context talking about them being
And that's something even
There's
like
already,
way,
like-
that's something even way back when, like I mentioned on a way old pod.
well, there's like already like this weird like crossover kind of like ideology between sports and slavery, right? Like
Yeah.
the players already are in a fight for autonomy, right? Like they want more ownership and more representation in the leagues that they help build because
Speaking
nobody
of,
comes to
Dwayne Wade is a part owner of the Utah Jazz,
Hey.
oddly enough.
Look, more power to him because nobody.
And the only reason the Utah Jazz is because they couldn't negotiate a acceptable deal for him to become a part owner of the Miami Heat.
look.
So he
Yeah,
took his
I'm
own
sure there's
agency.
a lot
That would
of-
be it had to have been a disagreement on Wade's part because then he went and bought in on the Jazz.
Well, I mean, I'm sure because they were trying to like stiff arm him. We're talking about Florida, right? Like
We're
think
talking about the Miami Heat and the icon
we're
of
talking
the franchise.
about Florida. We're talking about Florida. Let's get real for a second. We're talking about Florida, and if you don't think that the hands behind the Miami Heat, like the owners behind that
Pat
shit,
Riley?
okay, look.
Basically, I mean, Pat Riley
think Pat
runs
Riley-
that franchise.
Yeah, okay, Pat Riley is the face of that franchise. But that doesn't mean he is the only owner in that franchise. And you best believe, with as much money as basketball brings in, and for like an area like Florida, which is already a sports-driven area, let's talk about that. Because like, when you look at like highest
People
paid,
talk about the Dolphins regardless if they suck or not.
when you look at highest paid like government employees and stuff like that, a lot of times outside of like actual government positions, like a lot of times college sports coaches make the most money. Head coaches, like in the state, make the most money. You want to know why? Especially down south. Think about what it is. I mean, come on. You know how important sports
Nick Saban is to Alabama.
You know how important sports are down south.
Yeah, football is life. No matter how much bad news the NFL gets in the South, football is life. High school on Friday, college on Saturday, NFL on Sunday. Religiously.
So, you
Oh, I'm
think
sorry. NFL on Sunday after church.
these are historic institutions, right? Like, they're almost like iconic Americana, right? Like,
Alabama football for sure.
college football in general. This shit is iconic Americana, yo. Like, you don't grow up without hearing about, like, Duke and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, so,
Exactly. All right. So you're not a huge sports
I'm not
person.
a huge sports fan.
You're not a huge
but
sports person,
Know
but do you
Roll
know?
Tide and shit like that.
Do you know the coach of the Duke Blue Devils?
Not.
Krzyzewski. Mike Krzyzewski.
Okay.
He's been doing it for, like...
But my
like
point
30,
is...
40 years at this point. I'm sure you've heard the name.
Yeah. My point is any American can name at least one college football team. Can name at least one NBA team. Can name at
least one NBA player.
Can name at least one MLB team. You know what I'm saying?
Not MLB player. Old Pat.
I get no
current MLB player.
Current. But everybody fucking knows Jackie Robinson.
Everybody knows Babe Ruth.
Everybody knows Cal Ripken.
Locally, everybody knows Cal Ripken.
Nah, fuck that. Everybody knows Cal Ripken.
21-31 is the record that he broke. Now, here's the real question.
Barry.
Do you know what his streak ended at?
Who? At Cal's?
Yeah.
No.
26-32.
Damn. 26-32.
So if any professional athlete wants to try to play in 2,633 professional baseball games in a row,
damn.
Go for it.
Put numbers on
let
the
me
board.
let me do some real. Let me pull up my calculator real quick because I can't do that mental math. I'm getting aggressive, man. This is important to me.
I mean, I feel like it helps for the video, though. This
Cal.
is important to me. I love baseball.
I wore a Ripken jersey the other week.
You did.
Okay, so baseball has 162 games per season, right?
Right.
So we'll take 2,632, divided by 162.
I don't know why you had to look at me like I didn't understand what 20s.
You need to play over 16 seasons in the Major League Baseball without missing a single game.
He didn't miss a single game that whole time?
Nope.
Putting numbers on the board. Hey, look.
The longest streak I knew before of was Miguel Tejada, and it was like 1,200.
That's heavy.
That now with like the super health management of these athletes, that's an unbreakable record.
Yo, hold on.
No one is fucking playing that many games in a row again.
Baseball players are definitely the sloppiest looking of any athlete, though.
You know what one of the coolest things about Cal Ripken was? You know how everybody would try to emulate somebody's batting stance?
Yeah.
Cal Ripken would go up with a different batting stance. And you know what he said? He was like, yeah, I mean, I can do whatever I want until I get into the same stop when they wind up.
That's fair.
So he's just killing time however he wants to kill time while the pitcher's killing time.
Just showing up. Like, I do this on a regular. Like, what the fuck do y'all
White boy
expect
drip.
from
Ripken. OG.
Got that Ripken drip.
I'm pretty sure Cal Ripken is one of the people that can walk through.
Nope, I do not like the way that sounds. I take that back.
You know, when you call yourself out on these things, that's how we end up with the Curb Your Enthusiasm moments where I'm like, you really did it to yourself?
Yeah, cause I had to, yo. I can't let anybody else do that to me, yo. But Ripken drip definitely sounds like something you need like penicillin for.
Brenda's got a baby.
Woo-wee.
That was one of the most vicious follow-ups for me to say. Woo! Anyway,
I'm still thinking
so
about Ripken.
I think Cal Ripken is one of those people that can actually just walk through any part of Baltimore and never get fucked with.
I think Cal Ripken is cool with not having the Ripken drip. He's sitting back listening to this shit somewhere like, yeah, nah, cancel that. Cancel that.
But yeah, that's over 16 seasons without missing a single fucking game. Not one. Not a single game. You know what's funny? We haven't actually talked about any of the things that we wrote down. So maybe you pause it for a second so I can pull up this Powerpuff Girls movie script.
And we're about to take it. Too raw, smooth dog.
spitting on lawn like Clint Eastwood.
Why you do that shit to me? What did you say?
That shit's mine. I said spitting on the lawn like Clint Eastwood.
Spitting on the lawn like Clint Eastwood. Looking at a nigga like I wish he would. What?
Old man looked confused as he stood.
Till I hit him in the jaw like I knocked on wood.
Have you ever had to knock on wood? Cause I wonder if you have. Because I'm sure it isn't good.
Content. As we roll on into the next segment here, what is it exactly you wanted to talk about to the folks? To the folks. With
So
the
you know
folks.
how we were joking about it being the Pornopuff Girls?
Oh my god, so more Powerpuff Girls updates?
It's really the Pornopuff Girls.
So more Powerpuff Girls updates.
The script, some of the script leaked. Bubbles!
More of the script leak? Cause didn't...
No, we just had the pictures of the...
So this is... Okay, so for the listeners, if y'all aren't following us on Instagram, you definitely should be following us on Instagram and
At the
Twitter,
Flood Pod.
on both Twitter and Instagram.
Very easy, at the Flood Pod.
Holla.
So, this is some of the script. Bubbles! Guys, how can you turn down an evil recon mission? Especially when said Mish would make a perfect storyline from my documentary, Bubbles is Back! Buttercup, not to be confused with the other film, Bubbles on her back.
How do you... What?
Bubbles! Remember what a huge crush he had on Blossom? Weird kid. Hey, you know who said who we should see while we're here? Sarah! She was always so great to us. Dad blew that one. Yeah, now he just dates rando beaker buddies and science hoes.
Who is directing this?
Bloss, wake up,
Okay.
or we'll leak your nudes everywhere.
What? What? How old are they supposed to be in this one?
Probably teenagers, and regardless, that's still too young for the shit that they're getting in. I don't know. Kellen, check us. Is this the type of shit people are doing now?
No, because it sounds very much like the Sabrina reboot that they did on Netflix, right? And if it's directed by the same dude that did like the whole Archieverse, which would include Riverdale and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I think there was another one, but I can't remember off the top of my head, then this totally makes sense, right? Because I watched Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I watched yes I did. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
This makes a creepypasta make way more sense. You know Samurai Jack living in the post-apocalyptic world of Townsville?
Yeah.
You know that creepypasta? We'll post that one for y'all. Townsville got destroyed because this movie fucking sucked.
So apparently the whole show had been reworked, right? Because it was coming off as too campy, according to an Uproxx article. I'm still looking for who is directing this shit, right? Because we know it's starring Chloe Bennett and Dove Cameron and Yana Peralta.
Blossom, aren't we here to investigate? Buttercup, I'm here to pick up bi-curious touties. You're here to avoid Drake. Bubbles is here to investigate, but she forgot Butch hates her. Luckily, we're dealing with another hate boner, so alcohol helps. What do you know about hate boners? Life is one big hate boner.
It sounds like the edgy teen reboot of the Powerpuff Girls, right?
Which I did not ask for.
Of course you didn't fucking ask for it, right? But, like, apparently you're, like, what, like 27? That's not the fucking point.
I'm almost 29.
That's not the
That
fucking
just goes
point.
to show how fucked up this past year and a half has been.
Yeah.
By the way, I just got my second shot yesterday.
So the show is... Okay, I'm examining the lens from the aspect of the show is not for me, right? Like, which I feel like a lot of people have a hard fucking time doing. They look at some shit and they're like, oh, I grew up with that. That means I should be able to enjoy this, right? And it's like, okay, if they're bringing the show back, clearly it's to introduce it to new audiences, right? Like, this is the thing I had. Me too, personally. I'm here with you guys. I had to get over it too.
This just makes me think that Gen Z is forced to grow up entirely too quickly.
Obviously, they have smartphones, my nigga. Like, I hear my son say shit sometimes. Like, because of TikTok, my son has been making fucking hentai noises. And I had to tell him that the other fucking day. Yeah, because that thing, that's a fucking trend on TikTok now. And yes, when you let your kids hold your smart devices, sometimes they get into shit that they have no fucking business getting into. And I had to tell my son, you know you're making porno noises? And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And guess what stopped? Since I told him he's making fucking porno noises. Now we're gonna be like, hey Doc, why does your son know what porno is? He's 9 and he was born in 2012.
Oh, when was his birthday?
Okay, so he's not 9 yet. His birthday is coming up. It's Tupac's birthday.
Very easy for you to remember.
Exactly. It's almost like a blessing from the gods. Anyway.
Looking at the Eric B. and Rakim picture right over there.
That's a
and Bowie Cat right there.
Yeah.
Pretty good representation right there.
Shout out to Bowie Cat.
Whenever we look at the camera, we actually look at this little stuffed cat with the Bowie Aladdin Sane lightning bolt across his face. Common misconception. People think the lightning bolt is from Ziggy Stardust. It is actually from one of his other personas, Aladdin Sane.
Oh, for real? I thought it was from, what is the Spiders from Mars or whatever?
Yeah, no, that's it. So Ziggy Stardust, he's actually got like this big gold emblem in the middle of his head. He's got a lot of like big spiked up red hair, wears like these ridiculous 1960s, 70s outfits with like pants splitting out to the side. But David Bowie, the thing that made David Bowie so cool to begin with was that he never was set and pigeonholed into any one genre.
Or gender.
I mean, the dude was Ziggy Stardust, the fascist monochromatic thin white duke. Over the top, like, mystical genie, Aladdin Sane.
Art at its finest.
I mean, his 3 best albums critically considered are the Berlin albums, which are the 3 albums he recorded in the 1970s while living in Berlin.
Nigga, are we doing a David Bowie podcast, or are we talking about Powerpuff Girls?
I don't know. It depends on how much you're going to let me talk.
About David Bowie? I mean, I was letting you go for a minute. No, but I'm still trying to find the director for this shit, though, because to me, like I said, it seems like where they're going with this is totally a edgy teen reboot, right? Like, they're talking about nudes, like, you've got more of the script on hand, like...
In the wake of Mojo's death, a once fringe group of anti-Powerpuff Girls activists have gained massive popularity in Townsville. Their goal? To banish the Powerpuff Girls. The news cuts to a footage of the mayor holding a press conference surrounded by angry anti-Powerpuff Girls protesters. Due to public safety concerns, the Powerpuff Girls have been outlawed from fighting in Townsville.
So they're going with like a Civil War kind of like Sokovia Accord kind of like angle.
With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, Townsville is a candy-colored bubble of privilege and comfort. Ever since the creature attacks stopped, we're one of America's safest cities. I don't think people are voting from places of fear. Jojo, what about my pet monkey? That was meaningful in the last election. Post-Harambe, no one cares anymore.
Okay, so we're making kind of like, you know, topical jokes
from 5 years
like
ago.
That. If you could consider Harambe topical.
Can we consider him tropical?
Wow, I'm the dead. I'm the dead. You stay in
Cue
your
Phil
lane.
Collins music from Tarzan, everybody.
You stay in your lane, sir. Look.
Right. I'm the disenfranchised single.
What do you think is worse, this or the Cruella, like, origin story? Like, cause that's the, like, hot trending thing right now is the whole, cause that shit's getting ready to drop, so you know the
That looks like a movie that should have Helena Bonham Carter in the lead, but doesn't.
It has Emma Stone.
Yeah, it probably should be Helena Bonham Carter. But it's not.
I don't know. Once again, I feel like this is a movie that doesn't look interesting to me because it's not for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it looks like the movie with Kirsten Dunst, Marie Antoinette, combined with, like, Fight Club.
it looks like a Dr. Seuss production meets, like...
There's a rocket in my pocket. There's a rocket in my pocket. I had that video saved on my old phone of somebody rapping along to the beat to the...
Of course you do.
It's great.
I'm not surprised at all.
It's great.
I'm not surprised at all.
Make it, bake it, pancake. Make it, bake it, pancakes.
I guess what I'm getting
bake
to
it, bake it, put it
is...
in a pancake. New York!
I guess what I'm getting at is, like, I've gotten to a point recently where I feel like, I don't know, I'm trying to hate on stuff less, because, like, you know, I went to the doctor just recently, me and my blood pressure is a little high, so I'm trying to hate on stuff less. And I feel like part of that is realizing that certain things just aren't for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think we get to a point where we all want to be the main character in the...
You know what a good way to
storyline.
relieve blood pressure is, everybody? Realize that holding resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies.
That's kind of what I'm talking about, though. Like, being upset that, like, certain things are being adapted for new audiences. Like, the new Rugrats reboot dropped, you know what I mean? And they, like, what seems like the only thing is different about it is the animation, right? Like, all I saw, because I don't have Paramount Plus yet, it would be tight if somebody would want to sponsor us and maybe give us, like, a free subscription. I know there's free subscriptions out there, but I'm saying if you want to sponsor us...
Good luck convincing other
Reach
people
out.
to subscribe to Paramount Plus.
It looked... Okay,
We
so...
would get sponsored like by Paramount Plus the same way Arby's sponsored The Daily Show.
Look, all I'm saying is I haven't seen the new Rugrats reboot yet. I
saw the animation.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer animation.
It looks fine.
It looks tight, right? Like,
I did see this cool thing where they took all of the
think it looks
Rugrats
tight.
and they put them into like old hip hop, or not all Rugrats, like Nickelodeon cartoons. Put them in old hip hop albums.
Uh-huh.
The one I saw that was really cool was the preschool education of Susie Carmichael.
Oh yeah, you know how the internet loved Susie because she was the only woman that ever put Angelica, I guess girl, that put Angelica in her place. Definitely not bitch though. That's not what I said the first time around. And we had to cut this shit so cause I'm talking about like a fucking 7-year-old?
4-year-old.
4-year-old.
Tommy was 2, Chucky was 3, Angelica was 4. And then all of the bullies that picked on them at the playground were 5. Dill was 1.
You didn't have to check me like that just now. I don't like how you G-checked me over the Rugrats. It was very aggressive. Like...
Look, it's important. That's actually a distinct important thing that Chucky is older than Tommy.
Y'all
Think about
hear the way-
it. Chucky has lived 50% more than Tommy has.
Do y'all hear
Because
the way
he's 3.
Oh, Glennon just clapped at me just now?
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Which
And
brings me into a title shift.
Right. We can come back for that title shit.
It is what it is, I suppose.
Great artist steal, right?
Yeah, that's the Picasso quote. I know we've said it several times on this pod. But I have 2 title shifts. What? What the fuck? I have 2, and you apparently have 1.
Okay, I don't just have 1, but go ahead.
Okay, so, and I've actually narrowed these down to swapping them in specific spots.
Okay.
So, we have Ice Cube and Chris Tucker in Friday, and I want to swap them with Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller from Zoolander.
So you want to put Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller in Friday?
Yes. And then I want to put Ice Cube and Chris Tucker in Zoolander. Can you imagine Chris Tucker and Ice Cube doing a walk-off judged by David Bowie?
It wouldn't be judged by David Bowie. It would be
No, it's judged by David Bowie in the movie.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if we switch the movie culturally, it would be RuPaul. I'm just saying. Like,
Okay.
It would be RuPaul.
That's fair.
But
David Bowie, or Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller in Zoolander.
I feel like some people
from Zoolander in Friday.
I feel like some people are gonna be mad at me because essentially I feel like this makes Zoolander a better movie.
Some people are gonna be mad at you.
It makes Friday interesting though, right? Like Friday with 2 white guys, especially like Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller.
Pretending to be male models.
So, no, they're not pretending to be male models. Owen Wilson just lost his job for stealing boxes on his day off. And Ben Stiller sells weed out of his mama's house. What the fuck do you mean? That is how this movie works, and if it doesn't work that way, I don't want to watch it. Because I feel like Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller could still make Friday work. Kind of.
I feel like they probably could.
It would just come off more Harold and Kumar than it would come off like Friday. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what's Zoolander like with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube?
All about the Benjamins?
But are they stupid like Zoolander and...
Yes, like, okay, so it's like All About the Benjamins meets like...
Don't Be a Menace?
No, it's like Pootie Tang meets Undercover Brother. Right, is how I see this movie working out.
Now I'm just thinking it's Eddie Griffin and Chris Rock.
In my mind. Of course, because Chris Rock has to be where Will Ferrell is, right? Like Chris Rock
is Mugatu?
Yes, in Will Ferrell's position. That's how this movie works, right? If not, I don't see it working.
Alright, I can't
wait, no, hold on. Because Bernie Mac could definitely be Mugatu, right? Like, if we're just carrying... Or...
I actually thought of another one. I didn't write it down.
No, fucking John Witherspoon, right? Like, John Witherspoon as Mugatu. Even better, right? Like, let's just carry over all the fucking characters.
No. John Witherspoon as Jerry Stiller's character, Ben Stiller's manager.
Yeah, okay. So does that mean Ice Cube replaces Ben Stiller?
Ice Cube, I feel like Ice Cube would replace Owen Wilson.
Right. Okay.
And then Chris Tucker would be the really dumb one.
Would be Ben Stiller's character.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a really mixed up title shift then. Alright, that's fine. I'm cool with that, right? Because, like, as we're plotting this movie, I feel like we need to make this happen, right? Ben Stiller, Ice Cube, if you guys are out there listening, hopefully you are. What I'm saying is, make this crossover event happen. It's 2021, baby. Anything can happen. Donald Trump was president. Like, there's a Powerpuff Girls reboot. Was. I said reboot. There's a Powerpuff Girls reboot that is looking like a softcore porno. You could totally make a Friday...
Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson in the Hood movie?
You could totally make a Friday Zoolander crossover.
Oh, no, think about it. This turns from A Night at the Museum into A Night in Compton.
Now I just had, like, NW, like, the Straight Outta Compton and, like, A Night at the Museum.
I have a visual of Ben Stiller just running away from something. I don't know what, but Ben Stiller's running away from something.
my title shift wasn't really a title shift. I saw an article on Screen Rant that said, manga is getting more popular than ever. So Viz Media has teamed up in partnership with Marvel Comics to bring us some Marvel manga crossovers, because apparently manga is outselling some of the New York Times best-selling novels at the moment.
Well then.
With Chainsaw Man and Attack on Titan.
All you people who used to make fun of us for watching anime in high school, don't come up with your hot takes on Black Clover.
Or specifically reading Shonen Jump. And
Black Clover is trash. It is trash. It is a trash-ass anime. It is terrible. Especially the dub version. The character never shuts the fuck up. He yells all the time for no reason, and not even in a comical way the way I do. And you know what? We're gonna drop this news segment. Ziggy is mad and doesn't even feel clever.
Oh, god damn it.
Fuck Black Clover. It is an awful, awful anime. It's terrible. All of you people that call it the GOAT and everything, and even compare it to My Hero Academia, which, for all of you people comparing it to Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, you're fucking wrong. And fuck you. And fuck you, Wizards of the Coast. And fuck you, James Harden. And fuck white supremacy. And fuck Black Clover. No, it doesn't build up. There's not character development. It's all shit. I watched 50 episodes, and I was more disappointed watching Black Clover than I am being an Orioles fan. It's trash. Anyway.
Viz Media has cited sales of My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer as examples of high demand.
Because it's better than Black Clover!
And with My Hero Academia having 9 million copies in print, with 1 million copies of just Volume 1, Demon Slayer has over 4 million outpaced sales simultaneously.
The movie has been super successful from what I've heard.
Right. So Viz Media is doing a collaboration with...
Also, this is something we've talked about, where they do anime arcs with movies, because this is not the type of thing that we want to spend, 8 weeks watching 30 minutes at a time.
Right. So that kind of gets into what I was where I'm going with this, right? They're doing a partnership with Marvel where they will be bringing us some Marvel manga crossovers. One of them specifically being Captain Marvel's cat taking on Thanos.
Say that again. Captain Marvel's
Carol,
apostrophe S ownership cat.
Yes, Carol Danvers' cat taking on Thanos.
The animal. A cat.
Yes. Rare.
Okay.
The other one will be Deadpool and doing some samurai shenanigans. At the moment, that's all Screen Rant is really reporting. I was thinking, looking at this article, what are some other things that might be interesting as a manga? Manga? Is it
manga?
Manga?
I say manga. Tournament or tournament?
Potato.
Tomato.
So immediately, reading this article, I thought about Friends, right? Because Friends is having the reboot on HBO Max and all of that shit.
Oh, they already did this as a manga. Yeah.
Did they do a Friends manga?
Yeah, Joey loses his mind and he starts stabbing everybody.
Wow, that's really dark. Is that death art?
No, I'm actually kidding. It was this 6-panel comic that somebody made, and it was Rachel on the phone. It was Monica, get out of the house! Joey already got to Phoebe and Ross! And then it's Joey behind Rachel, Nobody ever told you life was gonna be this way.
So is that death art? Okay, so they have a...
No, I think that's just the result of therapy.
Immediately, so after that, I thought about Rambo, right? Like, Rambo would be a type manga, like if they adapted that.
Ooh, I have a good one. You know what would be a really interesting manga, considering I would love to see how the art style is done?
What?
Mad Men.
Oh, wow. Okay, you fucked me up, right? Because I was gonna say Mad Max. Because when you look at... Okay, so...
Mad Max would be a clear good one.
Yeah. But, well, I bring that up because I watched a little bit of the behind the scenes for, like, the making of Mad Max, and they didn't necessarily do, like, a script or a storyboard with it. Or, excuse me, they did more of a storyboard with it. So it was like a bunch of comic strips, and a lot of it, I'm not gonna say it was improvised, but a decent amount of it was like, this happens, this happens, this happens, and I guess like the dialogue in between was more or less directed and not scripted. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, but Mad Men would actually probably make a pretty dope manga.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. It would be a slice of life manga, and you can take like the art style and kind of like the tone of like Big O.
Well, it reminds me of like the lawyer game that everybody is like playing.
Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, exactly. It would be kind of like Phoenix Wright.
I feel like it would be more like sharp and suspenseful though.
You think? Than being a lawyer?
Well, I feel like the tone of Phoenix Wright is very over the top.
Okay. Mad Men would totally make a great manga, though.
I feel like if it was Mad Men and with like the tone of like Berserk, rest in peace, the creator of Berserk.
Right. Rest in paradise. What about Breaking Bad?
I feel like Breaking Bad could also make a good manga.
Yeah. Obviously, like, things like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Sopranos, The Wire, those would make great mangas. Even, like, Lovecraft Country, you know what I mean? That would probably make a good manga.
I do have title shifts, though.
Hold on, wait. Because I'm trying to think of something off the wall that we could interpret into a manga. Like Dilbert. What about, like, Big Bang Theory, the manga?
I refuse to acknowledge Big Bang Theory as a show.
Big Bang Theory is a manga?
It speaks badly of my people. And I mean nerds.
Big Bang Theory as a manga, though, probably would have worked better than, like, as a Chuck Lorre TV show, though. Because then they could actually do, like, off-the-wall nerd shit, like build time machines and go back in time. See,
what about these as a manga? You can pick one. Curb Your Enthusiasm or Arrested Development.
Arrested Development would work way better as a manga than Curb Your Enthusiasm. If we're sticking with that idea, right? Like, I see your title shift, but I feel like Arrested Development has to be the choice for a manga.
Yeah, because it could definitely pull, like, you could just do, like, the blank panel with Jason Bateman.
What about, like, Late Night with Stephen, or what is it, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert? Could you imagine that as a manga?
I feel like I could probably imagine...
Ooh.
I feel like I could imagine what's his name? James Corden doing a better manga.
What about Tucker Carlson?
I feel like it would have to be
I don't even know what the name of Tucker Carlson's show is.
I feel like it would
right?
have to be like a parallel manga where it's like following Tucker Carlson and Trevor Noah.
Okay, so The Daily Show would make a type manga, right? Like, even the name, The Daily Show.
But we would also have to like get the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. Of like Trevor Noah talking in the writer's room.
It would be like a slice of life manga where like it
follows the life of Trevor Noah.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Whereas whatever the fuck Tucker Carlson's show is would be the same way, right? Like it would be like almost like an anti-slice of life manga.
Okay.
Where Tucker Carlson turns into like the slime worm when he like leaves his show.
Alright, so here's one for you. Now, you saw my title shift, but I'm actually going to alter it a little bit. You hosting Black Jeopardy on SNL. Well, disregard the fact Kenan Thompson co-hosting me. Co-hosting with me. I want to know what you would be like hosting Black Jeopardy.
You know what's extra funny is I almost said Kenan Ivory Wayans. Instead of Kenan Thompson. Sorry, Kenan. Both Kenans?
Originally, I was gonna say me and you swapped on SNL for Kenan and Pete Davidson, but I feel like it would just be way more interesting to see you hosting Black Jeopardy.
I don't feel like I'd be a bad Jeopardy host. I mean, Jeopardy holla at me. Like, you know, we could make this shit happen. It might...
Have you seen that Tom Hanks on Black Jeopardy bit?
Yes, I've seen that Tom Hanks on Black Jeopardy bit. Like, I think he did a great job. I mean, shout out to Tom Hanks. Not Chet, though. I mean, shout out to Chet. Look, I don't have no problems with any of the Hankses.
Or you doing Black Jeopardy with Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther?
Or me doing Black Jeopardy. Holla at me, SNL. And on that note, we gonna take a break.
I'm Hank Hill and I sell cocaine and cocaine accessories.
I would love for a King of the Hill Breaking Bad crossover.
Can you imagine it? Just like
In
him and Dale running around the lab like the King of the Hill intro, and like jumping into meth and everything. And then at the end, they show up late to the beer thing and crack it open. Boomhauer is the suspicious brother-in-law. He's suspicious the whole time, but you can't understand the goddamn thing, man.
So
I mean,
Dale,
like, look, I mean, like, Dale dealing crystal meth and something like that, but, you know, I don't know anything to confirm that, but I definitely think that they're selling something on the major.
So Dale is definitely
Jesse. Dale is definitely Jesse.
I wanted it to be Bobby, but
No. Bobby's the kid with the...
oh no.
No! Why did we do that to Bobby?
No, why did you do that to Bobby? Don't tie
Jesse
me into
is
this
totally
shit.
Dale,
Oh,
though!
God. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Oh my god.
I'll tell you what, I am Heisenberg.
I am the one who knocks. I tell you what.
No. And what's his name?
What the fuck? What the
Gustavo? He's replaced by the
by John Redcorn?
No. Not by John Redcorn. The
By the neighbor?
the Vietnamese neighbor or whatever.
Oh my god. Why can't I not remember who the fucking neighbor
Give
is?
us the bag!
Why can't we make it happen?
That is such a great idea. I'm dying off of just the intro alone. Like they show up, like Hank walks into the door, and he's just like burm, and it starts in as soon as he puts his leg in through the suit.
I'm just like dying over here, yo. Like what the fuck? Oh my god. You got like Peggy being some meth whore and like.
Oh no!
No! Hold on. You know what would be even better?
You would have
no. Fuck that. You know what would be even better? A King of the Hill, Sons of Anarchy crossover.
No,
yo.
I just want you to get this visual. Get this visual into your head.
No,
Ready? You know the
not?
scene where the two guys are in the storage unit with all the money?
No.
Imagine it as Bill and Bobby.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Bill would definitely be the test subject for all the meth.
But I mean, like, Bill and Bobby would just be, like, sitting there, and then they would totally just lay on the money.
Oh, I got another title shit for you. King of the Hill meets New Jack City.
I'll tell you what, I sell heroin and heroin and accessories.
It was crack.
Crack.
Oh, I sell crack and crack is...
Crack accessories?
Welcome to this episode of The Flood where Doc
Who would be Nino?
tries to figure... Obviously, Hank.
Hank would be Nino?
Yes, obviously, Hank. What the fuck do you mean? Can you not imagine Hank as Nino Brown? Oh my god.
There's actually this joke video where they did a champion spoiler for League of Legends with Hank Hill. And it was like, Hank Hill, the propane tyrant. He throws a barrel with the blast radius in the shape of Texas.
What the fuck?
This is an amazing idea. Let's make Hank King of the Hill Breaking Bad. Let's make it happen.
I'm sorry for today's episode, guys. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Oh.
Tell us that. You tell me that that's not hilarious.
That is definitely $1 million idea. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet.
Should I bring it on to a real topic?
Is there a real topic for today's episode?
I have two. So, one of them I thought of, this was just like a fleeting thought. One of them that I thought of, and this was just a fleeting thought, is the boom in the crypto market a direct result of millennials and Gen Z's distrust in the actual market from the GME AMC fiasco?
No, I think it's another attempt to destabilize the United States dollar. I mean, tinfoil hat time. And I don't really think it's a lot of tinfoil hat talk. Like, Elon Musk literally tweeted out that he thinks it's time to, move on from the conventional idea of. But
he also tweeted out that Tesla wouldn't be
buy
taking
Bitcoin.
They wouldn't take Bitcoin to buy Teslas anymore, and the value of Bitcoin tanked.
But that's also because Elon enjoys playing with markets, right? Like, he literally took on, like, FCC charges.
You mean,
or not.
enjoys playing God.
He literally took on, like, financial charges when he tweeted that he was gonna make fucking Tesla stock $420.69. Like, yeah. And he was willing to take on, like, those charges for that shit. Like, so... I don't know, maybe don't take everything Elon says seriously.
He's a fucking troll, everybody. Have you not realized this yet? He loves Twitter as much as the rest of us.
He's a, 45...
You're listening to a podcast co-hosted by somebody who faked their death for a science experiment. It was not Doc.
Was that death art, though?
It was pseudo-death art.
Was it meta-death art?
It was reflective death art. It wasn't really art. It was more just like a very early attempt at what you can do with the powers of the internet.
So Elon...
Because I did this like way back when, like 2011.
So Elon's 49. And I feel like he has been going through...
Wait, how old is he?
He's 49.
He's only 49? I thought he was older than that.
No. And I feel like, though, he's perpetually been going through a midlife crisis since he was probably, like...
When's the first time you heard about Elon Musk?
It was probably in a Maxim magazine article. Because I used to
How
read a
long
lot
ago,
of Maxim... Like, so when did we work for CVS?
Like 2012?
No, it was way before that. It was.
It wasn't way before that.
No, okay, so
because I remember I left working CVS to go work at the card shop, and I started working at the card shop in 2012.
It was probably like 2011, like 2010, 2011, maybe even like 2009.
Definitely not 2009.
When did Iron?
Probably 2011.
When did Iron Man come out?
Iron Man came out in 2008. So but I definitely was working I was working at CVS while I was at community college.
So it was between 2000... My point is...
It's probably 2011.
I read about this nigga in a Maxim... My point is not that it was when I was working at CVS. I read about this nigga in a Maxim magazine article in comparison to Tony Stark. So it was between 2009 and 2012 is what I'm trying to say.
I'll say I probably heard first about Elon in like 2014, 15. And I think it was because of SpaceX.
No, I read about that nigga in comparison to like a real life Tony Stark, and like as I said, he's probably closer to Lex Luthor than Tony Stark. This nigga is way too obsessed with like fame, right? Like he wants to. He is like a smarter version of Martin Shkreli. If you could.
I don't think he's like that.
Oh, you serious? Oh, come on, dog. Like
he's not running around trying to buy Black Lotuses.
He called the dude who rescued the kids from that like cave in Thailand or wherever the fuck it was like a pedophile because he stole all the media hype from him. Like Elon Musk is a fucking internet troll.
No logic.
Like,
you can't make a song about not killing yourself. That's my thing. Jordan Lucas does that.
Yo, Elon Musk is a fucking internet troll, son. Like,
I mean, that should be a given.
Beto
O'Rourke was in a hacking community.
Dude, okay, anybody who brags about walking around like Madison Square Garden with emeralds in his pocket is totally like a fucking like supervillain, right? Like we can.
Oh, somebody who could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it?
Somebody whose parents owned a fucking emerald mine in South Africa thanks to apartheid. Like
you've seen the movie Blood Diamond, right?
Yes, I've seen the movie.
Great movie. Anybody who hasn't seen it, great movie.
And I'm sure there are people out there who are like, Elon
How
Musk's
different would
parents
Blood
didn't
Diamond
benefit
be
from
if Leo was replaced with Matt Damon? I don't think it's taken as seriously.
I'm trying to, respond to the trolls who were like, his parents didn't benefit from apartheid, but like, didn't they though? Like, let's be honest.
Don't be a hashtag not all men, everybody.
I'm not saying that Elon Musk isn't a genius. I'm just saying that not all geniuses are being worshipped. I had to come to that reality.
Name a genius who ain't crazy.
I had to come to that harsh reality when Kanye started acting the way he started.
Great follow.
Is all I'm saying. Maybe Elon Musk is white people Kanye.
You did say that before.
Have I said that before?
You were like, Kanye West is white people.
Is black Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's black Elon Musk.
I feel like that's a fair comparison.
I'll have to find the episode for you, but you legit, you said it as, a spur-of-the-moment thing. I didn't say anything, and I made you, defend it.
I just
and
feel
you were
like
oh,
it
this
still stands.
This close!
I feel like it's still staying, Joe.
So that would mean that Kanye West is also the racially ambiguous version of Lex Luthor.
I feel like Kanye West could totally play Lex Luthor, yo. What do you mean, son? Okay,
no, this is one of the things.
Where's my bag? Where is it? Where is it? DCEU.
We've given you two great ideas this episode, and y'all steal everything else from us.
Kanye would love for that to happen, yo. For him to go down as Lex Luthor, Jesus Christ.
I think the only thing he would want to do instead would be a Bruce Almighty remake where he plays God.
I could see that. But I could totally see
would be
Kanye West as Lex Luthor.
You will be able to have the powers of God because I bestow them upon you.
Oh my God.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you can't see Kanye West as Lex Luthor.
No, I can totally see Kanye West as Lex Luthor. But that's also a sign of that. Remember we talked about Lex Luthor being racially ambiguous growing up? I thought he was a white dude. You thought he was a light-skinned dude.
I totally thought he was at least Puerto Rican. Come on, the Lex Luthor in the Superman cartoons at least looked Dominican. He at least looked Dominican.
You know how we have a hard time casting The Rock in things? The Rock could have been DC animated Lex Luthor.
He could have been. Before he, really went hard into the human growth steroid.
Scorpion King.
Son. What were we even fucking talking about?
We were talking about how I made the mental note of the crypto market booming as a result of millennial and Gen Z distrust in the stock market as a result of the GME and AMC fiasco with Robinhood, which was designed for everyday regular traders to only been blindsided when they were supporting the major financial markets.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think millennials and Gen Z care about cable news?
No.
Not at all? You don't think they care about any cable news sources at all?
I think they care about the clips from cable news that go viral.
So, we do...
And generally not from that cable news source.
Okay, so you don't think
something
that
will get retweeted by the Young Turks.
names like MSNBC or CNN have any, like, staying power moving forward?
Well, how many people are cutting cable?
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of these networks.
How many of these younger people are actually getting their news from a Philip DeFranco? Or, you know, a John Oliver? Or The Flood with Doc and Ziggy?
I mean, that's fair. Like, MSNBC has, you know,
because it's really hard to make the mainstream make sense and put culture in context. Sometimes you really need to have somebody with a pop perspective put it all together for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You say that?
Mm-hmm.
You say so?
I do say so. I believe it. We are the context. And this is. We are the context. And this is the culture.
This is the culture. Motherfuckers. Hey, listen, look. No, I mean, I was reading this Vanity Fair article about, you know, how cable news will probably never see the numbers that they saw during the Trump presidency.
I agree.
Ever again.
I agree.
Right? So, a lot of these networks are transitioning into finding a way to maintain some of the viewer increase that they saw during the Trump presidency.
They didn't get to cover a political circus.
Well, because it's like, people... the viewership hasn't necessarily dropped too heavily, like, you know, 17% for, like, MSNBC, like, 12% for, like, CNN.
I would love to see what their general age demographics are.
Oddly enough, the show, the news program, if we could call it that, with the least amount of drop in viewership was Tucker Carlson's show.
Even though that Fox News is in court right now, arguing against libel and slander lawsuits,
Fox
saying
News,
that Tucker Carlson is not a journalist?
Fox News also lost its most viewed, like, news channel.
The channel that lost the most viewers?
Yeah, no, lost its most viewed news channel award this year because of channels like Newsmax and ONN. So, like, some of their viewership, like, veered off, which caused them to lose, like,
oh,
their
right. They wanted to
percentage.
listen to a bunch of trumpets.
You know how maggots do. But
Digging in their graves.
Do you think we'll get in trouble for, like, a slander if we continue to call them maggots? But channels like CNN and MSNBC are looking to, you know, like I said, maintain their viewership as we move forward post-Trump presidency, because people haven't lost their interest.
That was like a triple layered reference. Should I probably explain what that was?
If you want to go for it, goddamn, I'm sorry, guys. Jesus.
Maggots dig into the ground at a grave. Trumpets are played at military funerals. The song taps, which is what I was humming.
Trumpets is also what we call, you know, Trump supporters, and maggots is also what we call, you know, followers of the MAGA cult.
Yeah.
Some people might say it's a little rude, but...
However,
if
you're hip, that was a really fucking good joke.
If you're tapped in.
Woo!
Some people...
Tap down?
Some people might say we're highbrow.
Tapped for the turn.
Other people might say we're a little crude, a little crass.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I
It
say
actually kind of does bring me into one of my
why
major
can't
topics.
it be both? Why can't it be?
So there was a GQ article that I found.
Ooh, okay.
Did you know that the 4th and final Jackass movie is coming out?
They're making another Jackass movie.
Johnny Knoxville is now 50 years old.
Sheesh.
And if you look at these pictures, he actually has been doing a religious coloring routine on his hair since he was like 19. And this is the first time he cut his hair and let it grow out. But he looks like Anderson Cooper kind of gray.
I mean, my man is definitely like gray, right? He's giving off mad. Oh God, what? Who's the director we were talking about earlier?
Woody Allen?
Yeah, he's giving me mad Woody Allen vibes, yo. Like anti-Woody Allen vibes. Like
Yeah. So this is something that the writer.
So wait, is it accurate to say that Johnny Knoxville is Bizarro Woody Allen?
No, I don't think that's accurate.
No.
No.
No. I mean, look, let's observe Johnny Knoxville's body of work, right?
Which, by the way, is a pen name. It's not his real name.
For real? What's his
Nope.
real name?
His real name is...
You know, I'm asking,
he dropped his given name, PJ Clapp, and adopted a pen name, Johnny Knoxville, while writing for a magazine...
Excuse me?
Called Bikini.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
His name is what?
His name is PJ Clapp.
His name is what?
PJ Clapp.
His name is what?
PJ Clapp.
PJ Clapp?
Yep. And he adopted the pen name Johnny Knoxville.
Well, I just would like to ask the audience what they think the difference is between PJ Clapp and Woody Allen. What is the difference between a Jackass and a Everyone Says I Love You? What is the difference between a Jackass 2 and an Annie Hall? What about, like, you know, a Jackass and... or a New York Stories and The Ringer?
So, I pulled out
differences?
some of these quotes. So, Jackass, the stunts and pranks television show that co-created and starred on, ran only for 3 seasons on MTV. But with the time it came to occupy an unusually influential position in our collective consciousness. An improbable achievement, given what the show consisted of.
Unusually, like,
And stranger
influential,
still.
like, a match point, maybe?
Well, hold on. And
Okay.
stranger still, this once seemingly frivolous spectacle that emerged from the margins of entertainment seemed to predict where a huge chunk of the culture was headed.
Sort of like a, sort of everything you always wanted to know about sex. Kind of, you know, predicted.
I
the
don't
future
think
of
this Woody
comedy.
Allen comparison floats, man.
I'm just saying, keep reading and we'll figure it out. Between the two of us, we'll hammer this thing out and we'll, you know, iron it flat.
So, Johnny Knoxville, when he moved to
Woody
Los
Allen.
Angeles,
Right?
he pitched to the editors of Big Brother on conducting an experiment testing the efficacy of pepper spray, a stun gun, a taser, and a bulletproof vest by using them on himself.
Kinda how, like, Woody Allen pitched to his wife the efficacy of leaving her and marrying their adopted daughter.
I think that's a reach. I think you're just really trying hard to die on this hill.
Okay. No, personally, I just feel like you're being contrarian, and you don't really see the vision how a Johnny Knoxville or a Woody Allen would see it.
Anyway. So, in many ways, Jackass was nothing more than that. The kind of shit boys do to make each other laugh, stretched into 22 minutes. It was a demolition derby starring human Looney Tunes. They
kind of like the movie Sleeper, or Take the Money and Run.
I really don't think this floats.
I don't think it's up to you necessarily. I think it's up to the listeners to decide that.
This is not getting to the point that I wanted to make here, though. So
let's get to it.
While the people appear to genuinely love each other and only are able to show that love through increasingly baroque forms of torture, what they assembled was possibly the most efficient show in history of television. Bits were rarely more than a minute or two long, and some of the strongest topped out at 15 seconds. It was wall-to-wall mayhem.
Would you say it was bananas?
Despite its brevity, the show was able to graze or even predict a number of cultural trends. Hollywood began to throw money at films, Old School, Step Brothers, The Hangover, about stunted, self-thwarting men. Platforms like YouTube, Vine, and TikTok, which would build billion-dollar businesses atop clips of people doing stupid shit.
Would you call them Stardust Memories?
No! No, I wouldn't! Now, there was one quote in here that I know, and I swear to God if you compare it to Woody Allen, I'm gonna be mad at you.
Okay.
Johnny Knoxville said, I thought going into Jackass 4, after everything we've been through and everything we've built, all it takes is one stupid fucking accident to erase it. Just turn it all into a negative. To be like, oh, these dumb fucking assholes, what did you fucking expect? But then we went along and fucking did it. And I wrote the Donald Glover tweet note there. I swear, you're scrolling through Woody Allen movies! How many of these have you even seen?
None. No, I have seen one.
I fucking hate you right now.
Okay, no, go ahead.
So, the thing is while I was reading this article, it really shows that Johnny was fully committed to the stunts. Like, that was his thing. He's like, we would do all of these stunts for the footage. The footage is the important part. And when they started filming this, they didn't have a good way to introduce each skit. Do you remember how Johnny Knoxville would introduce each skit of Jackass?
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is fucking with people in a mall.
Hello, my name is Johnny Cash.
Hi, I'm Woody Allen, and this is the deconstruction of Harry. I'm sorry for everybody listening. I have apparently broke Zig today. And he walked on for a moment. I think he's back.
I think I was just trying to make a point that there is... Well, you have the belief that reality television killed humanity.
Yes.
And Jackass was one of the major starts. I find it very interesting that there was actually a very deliberate artistic vision behind it. Because MTV was trying to exert too much control on it, and Jackass only had 3 seasons, to which Johnny Knoxville said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do this show anymore. Right. And those 3 seasons were reruns for a decade.
There is an art to chaos.
But hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is Ballbusters.
Wouldn't you say that essentially what Johnny Knoxville was trying to prove is there is an art to chaos? even in the sense of a Jackass, right? Where it is literally a show where a bunch of dudes seem to just be getting drunk and hopped up on painkillers and seeing what kind of torture they can subject themselves to.
Would you call Johnny Knoxville the king of good, bad TV?
I would call Johnny Knoxville the Woody Allen of chaotic entertainment.
I feel like you just wanted to compare Woody Allen to bring my delegation down a couple of pegs.
No. I feel like what you are missing here is me giving Johnny Knoxville...
It's just really hard for me to not separate the, like, Woody Allen was a pedophile thing from the whole time you're saying this.
No, what I'm trying to say is Johnny Knoxville deserves way more credit than what he is given, right? Like, everybody looks at him as a buffoon and a clown, right? But what Johnny Knoxville is essentially saying is there is an art to clowning. There is an art to buffoonery, and
you're using Woody Allen to prove the point that the work of Woody Allen matters.
No, I'm using Woody Allen as an allegory to say that Johnny Knoxville is a director in a sense, right? And we did not readily understand that growing up, because to us it is just clowning. It's a bunch of niggas getting hit in the face with like pies and shit like that.
Now,
and like physically subjecting their bodies to all kinds of uncomfortable torture, right? But for our entertainment, it is clowning in like its purest form when you stop and think about it.
They said in the article, Steve-O was quoted the reason that a lot of these stunts worked so well.
Didn't he go to clown college?
I didn't actually get to that.
I'm pretty sure
like,
Steve-O went to clown
Steve-O,
college.
I don't know.
Okay,
but like
ahead.
they said that Johnny Knoxville, the reason some of these bits were so great to sell, is because he's one of the most uncoordinated people ever. He's just really flexible. I'm
also almost like 90% certain that Steve-O went to clown college. Yo, like that's kind of like
he has a tattoo of himself.
This is Jackass was modern day clowning, right? Like that shit hasn't gone away. It is just like completely transformed in what we perceive it.
The line in this article really puts it well. They were real life Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, right? They were doing all the busting through walls and like, oh god, I just keep thinking about the porta potty skit, like.
They love to tell the story of the one time that Johnny Knoxville broke his dick. Like... But they also talked about after a stunt that he got vertigo so bad that anytime he would drive around the corner, he would get spins. And eventually they gave him medication to fix it, but this is funny. But he could only turn left.
Because of the vertigo?
I also find that funny for mentioning Zoolander earlier, who could only turn right. But they really go in to breaking down the fact that he is now 50 years old, and he does have a family, and he says, I can't afford to have any more concussions, and he can't put his family through that. Steve-O was quoted as saying that filming Jackass at this age is much the same as it ever was, with two big differences. Our bones break significantly easier, and it takes less to knock us out completely unconscious. Plus, longer to wake up. But, as I mentioned earlier, author of this article, Sam Shube, ironically, this is a beautifully written article about the show Jackass. Why did I say that so pretentiously? This is a beautifully written article about the show Jackass. I'm guilty, I love Jackass.
Nigga, I love Jackass too. That shit was fucking hilarious, yo. Watching them motherfucking white boys bust they shit open every goddamn night while you was like baked out of your mind was like it was definitely like a culturally like iconic moment.
It was easy at the time to describe Jackass as lowest common denominator entertainment, a feeble nadir in the TV races to the bottom.
But that's the way.
With time, though, it became clear that the show was operating at the intersection of a number of ancient American traditions. If you squinted, you could see traces of Buster Keaton and the Three Stooges. Knoxville's outlaw influences were present too. Spike Jonze told me that he and Tremaine and Knoxville hadn't discussed how the stunts might be introduced on the show, so Knoxville improvised what would become his signature opening to each segment. He started saying, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is the cup test," or whatever it was.
Right.
Jones wrote in an email, "Only later I remembered listening to Johnny Cash live and hearing Johnny Cash say, 'Hi, I'm Johnny Cash, and this is the Folsom Prison Blues.' And a light bulb went off. I was like, damn. No wonder it's so iconic."
It is beautifully written, but it is an article about clowning, and I don't think that it takes anything away from it saying that it is clowning, right? Because as I'm
there is an art to clowning.
Right, as I'm almost certain, one of the members of the Jackass crew actually went to clown school. And there is an art to this buffoonery, right? Like,
there's a joke even about it. Man goes to the doctor. Says, "Doctor, I'm feeling very sad." And the doctor says, "Okay, well, before I prescribe you anything, there's a great clown who is always able to make people laugh. His name is Pagliacci. You should go see him." And the man looks at the doctor and says, "But doctor, I am Pagliacci."
It's like, to me, it's like the Wayans brothers, right? Like, when you think about Scary Movie, and you think about the Wayans brothers shows, and In Living Color, and
Can you
stuff
name
like
all
that.
of them?
What? All the Scary Movies?
All four of the Wayans brothers.
Kenan, Damon, Sean, Marlon, and then the sister. God, what is the sister's name? Alright, I can't remember the sister's name off the top of my head. I'm sorry, ladies.
I know Sean, Marlon, and Damon. I wouldn't have gotten Kenan.
Yeah, Kenan is the most important. Kenan is the one who got famous first, and then put everybody else on.
Oh.
Yeah. Kenan is the oldest brother, and then it's Damon, and then it's
Damon was
Sean.
from the sitcom.
Yeah.
Sean was the one that directed all the Scary Movies.
Kenan,
and Marlon's the one we all know.
Kenan is the genius behind In Living Color. And then Damon followed suit, and then it was Marlon and Sean. And then it was, then they helped put the sister on. Whatchamacallit. I think Damon's son is acting too. He was in The Girl Next Door or something like that, I think.
Which carries on another subject of ours, the Hollywood nepotism.
Well, I mean, that is a pure example of family putting family on. I mean, which I guess in its purest form is Hollywood nepotism, right? But I don't blame the Ivory Wayans family for doing that. Like,
what would the Bernie Mac show be like if you replaced Bernie Mac with Larry David?
That's like asking, like, what fucking In Living Color would be like if you replaced Kenan Ivory Wayans with Jerry Seinfeld.
What if you replaced Jerry Seinfeld with Chris Rock? Bullet control era Chris Rock.
I think
we don't need gun control. We need bullet control.
I think Sex in the Champagne Room would be a lot less funny. No sex in the champagne room. No.
Can you believe it? There's no sex in the champagne room. It doesn't make any sense.
I personally think Jerry Seinfeld is only funny because of Larry David.
I think Jerry Seinfeld is only funny because of Louis Dreyfus, Julia Louis Dreyfus, and Jason Alexander.
Or I think Jerry Seinfeld is to Larry David what Paul Mooney is to, or was to, Eddie Murphy.
Ooh, Mike Epps and Pauly Shore.
So you want Mike Epps and Biodome?
No. I'm saying like Mike Epps is the equal to Pauly Shore. No, that's not fair to Mike Epps. Ooh, Orlando Jones and Josh Hartnett.
No.
Both of them went out way too early.
And Josh Hartnett, Orlando Jones.
Because remember, Josh Hartnett was in Black Hawk Down, which is a phenomenal movie. Well, who would be the black equivalent of David Duchovny? I was thinking, my first thought was Michael Ealy, but I don't think Michael Ealy would fit in.
I don't have an answer for this shit, because None of this shit is normal.
That's not even the end of the episode. That's just like shit. That's just shit we're talking about. By the way, while it was an urban legend, Jay-Z confirmed it on the shop. He did ghostwrite Still DRE.
No urban legend. This shit was not no urban legend, son. Everybody knew. Like, that was like one of those unknown known kind of things. Like, it was commonly...
The unspoken rule of hip-hop?
It was commonly understood that, like, Dr. Dre has had ghostwriters for a long time, and Jay-Z was one of those ghostwriters.
It's just hard to... It's wild for me to think that far back, though. Because I forget Jay-Z's been famous since, like, the early 90s.
You forget that Ice Cube wrote a lot of the verses.
Oh, no, Ice Cube writing most of NWA, I know.
Like,
he was the one with the pen and a pad with him anywhere he went.
Dre has always been the man with the beat machine.
Absolutely. There was something else I wrote of local/national note. So Kamala Harris gives the United States Naval Academy graduation commencement speech, being the first woman to do so. And the other parallel narrative from the right-wing Twitter I saw was that her woke joke bombed.
What was her woke joke?
From what I saw, I couldn't find the whole speech. But from everything that I saw, it was basically just a lot of political liberal talking points and how they were saying they should transform energy from batteries to solar panels. And they were like, I know the women would like to, wouldn't want to carry batteries instead of solar panels, and neither would the men.
Part of me wishes we were recording video right now so we could have caught my face. Like, I hope that wasn't what the joke was.
It was something along those lines from what I could read, because I could never actually find the whole speech. It was all just clips of mostly political talking points. I find it somewhat relevant because it is the United States Naval Academy, which is in Annapolis, Maryland.
I mean, it's relevant, right? Because it's the first female vice president, right? It's still
to give a commencement speech at a U.S. military school.
Everything she does is going to be relevant for the time being.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to people like Judge Joe Brown saying she slept her way to the top. I don't know if you watch a lot of, daytime courtroom TV.
It's been a couple of years, but I will say I've seen some Judge Joe Brown, some Judge Mathis. I've seen some Judge Judy.
Judge Joe Brown don't know how to, chill out.
Like listening to a preacher, except this one with a gavel.
He said Joe Biden was racist, which I do kind of agree with, but I mean, we won't get into that at the moment. It's getting to the point where I'm starting to be, disheartened by the whole, I already was, disheartened by the whole Joe Biden, Kamala Harris presidency.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
she's licking her chops.
I'm not trying to say that Joe Biden hasn't done anything important, right? I just feel like there's a lot of...
He retconned a lot of, shitty lore that the previous writers were doing.
Yeah, and it's back to, business
They did a new 52.
Usual. It's business as usual. It's not...
Is it a new 52 or a Flashpoint paradox?
I would call it a Flashpoint paradox, right? Because it's not a reboot, it's a retcon. Exactly like you put it. It's not like we are changing the things the way that progressives and the Bernie Sanders wing would have wanted.
We're just picking up the trash.
Yeah, and picking up where we left off.
You're fine, youngin'. What do you need?
I need the charger. You're making treasure, but today. Why are you still wearing your jacket?
Is it this charger?
Ooh, Desu-chan, why are you still wearing your jacket?
Dad, where's my USB?
Where's your...
Where's my USB that I gave you?
Oh, over there on the book bags.
That is a micro USB.
Can you say thank you?
Mine's a USB-C. Learn the difference. We live in a transitional period of technology.
Thank you.
That was actually pretty funny. Anyway, what were we talking about? I didn't even bother stopping to record.
Are we talking about anything? Today's episode is so off the fucking rails.
Hood Pope! You haven't even made one of those. Did you come up with a hood poke decree over the week?
No, they will be sparing and few in between. I'm not one of those prolific hood popes. I feel like that diminishes the point of my decrees if I'm just giving them out every other week.
So we have two, right? Old man Steve Rogers.
And what was the other one? I don't remember. You're supposed to keep track of those things, Bishop.
God damn it. I know that I have one. I need to come up with a version for me, but Sam Adams is frat bro.
I still want to see more supporting evidence for that argument.
Dude, the motherfucker got in cosplay, boarded a ship, threw all of the tea in the harbor because they were like, yo, this would piss them off, bruh. And he has a beer named after him. A craft beer, because they're whitewashing history to make it not look like he's a frat bro.
All I'm saying is I look forward to your dissertation.
Do you know how hard and painful I made it on myself writing that chicken nuggets paper? Because I may have read that 6-minute long chicken nugget paper. But no, that turned out to just be a rough draft. It had to go longer. From that overdone chicken nugget article, I did come up with a good thing to understand nostalgia.
Oh yeah?
Yes. You know how people like to go play their GameCube, or they'll like to go read an old book, or maybe they'll pop into VHS. Nobody pops into VHS. But for all of you people who metaphorically pop into VHS to feel the experience, again, of nostalgia, those objects are metaphorical genie lamps.
Hey, hold on. Tweet at us if you still have a VHS player in your house.
That you use.
Nah, I just want, if you have a VHS player, tweet at us and let us know what it's like.
Tweet at us if you don't know what a VHS player is.
Hey, tweet at us with a picture of how dusty your VHS player is.
Bonus points if your TV has a VHS player.
Continue.
Anyway, so objects like these are like genie lamps that people will go to, rub the genie lamp, and get that feeling of nostalgia. And when they walk away, that spirit goes right back into that lamp.
Kind of like how when you listen to the Flood Pod, you get that feeling of nostalgia. And then when you're done, it goes right back into the lamp. So you have to listen to another episode of the Flood Pod.
I wouldn't say nostalgia. You get fire takes and culture and context, and because we're not outdated, just a week behind.
Also,
fashionably late.
Also,
fashionably late.
Also, a DC Comics writer is looking to settle the argument of who would beat who, Superman versus Goku.
Rum your boat gently down the stream. Doc forgot his train of thought. Let's go on the sea.
According to a Screen Rant article where they talk about, how fans have been
the Goku versus Superman article.
Settle this debate for a pretty long time.
Somebody did the math behind it. I think Death Battle probably did a Death Battle of it too.
I'm sure.
But it's been one of the longest going debates on the internet since the internet was able to have two different fandoms complaining at each other.
A new DC comic book writer, Jean Lu Yang, recently in a Q&A was talking about his new project with the Monkey King and how a lot of Dragon Ball's mythos is based on the Monkey King mythos. He discussed...
They have tails, dude!
Yeah. I mean, if you can't see the connection between the Saiyans and the Monkey King, it's...
For all you youngins who don't remember Saiyans with tails...
Or who have never seen Dragon Ball and never seen Goku with the
Or
staff.
seen Vegeta transform and get his ass kicked.
It's there, right? So... essentially what the discussion is possibly using the new character of the Monkey King in the DC EU
as a proxy
fight for Goku versus Superman.
That's not fair.
Thank you, because that's how I felt about it. I mean, honestly, look,
DC Comics is not gonna write the Monkey King to be stronger than Superman. That's like playing a playoff series with all 7 games at one stadium.
I wish we were recording so you could see my face right now, right? Because here you are, setting me up to be in defense of Superman. Like, why would you do this? Stop fucking playing with this man, yo. Why are you playing with fucking Kal-El like that? I don't understand what it is with you plebes that really makes you think that a man who can sneeze an entire universe out of existence can be beaten by a fucking monkey throwing a temper tantrum.
We're done the golden age. Superman, major nerf. Patch notes hit.
It's still not a fucking art.
He gets nerfed every update.
That's
Like, you
the
see his
fucking
AD ratios
point.
drop. You
That's
see the
my
AP ratios
point.
on his sneeze
That's
drop.
my fucking point. Superman is so goddamn OP that the only person who I think could seriously take on Superman in this absurd, like, comic spectrum of iconic heroes is probably Saitama.
Incorrect. Amazo.
You're looking at Superman's weakness to magic.
No, Amazo can, like, 1v the universe. The
So
Justice
can
League
Saitama.
animated series, Amazo, got so godlike that he went to go hang out with Dr. Fate just because he already figured out how everything else worked.
Okay.
The entirety of the Justice League had nothing to stop Amazo. You know who had to stop Amazo?
Who?
Batman. By talking to him.
Fuck off. Fuck off. I'm so over you and your Batman proxy argument.
Batman rationalized with Amazo so he didn't destroy the planet.
Not Rorschach.
No. You know what happened to Rorschach when he tried to rationalize with Dr. Manhattan? Dr. Manhattan exploded him.
Wait. Is that a Marvel property or a DC
DC.
property? It is a DC property? Okay. Well, cause Dr. Manhattan could probably beat Superman, but that's not my point.
Ooh! I've never heard that argument on the internet, though.
Dr. Manhattan knows the outcome of all, like, outcomes.
Yeah, I know. He exists in multiple timelines at the same time.
Like, he is the, like, Deus Ex Machina of the DCE, right?
But
that's why they haven't used him
Superman
again.
stands be like, but he can sneeze multiple timelines out of existence.
I didn't say timelines, I said galaxies, asshole.
What's to say that he can't sneeze timelines out of existence?
Because I'm sure that...
How does it feel? Do you feel like you need to take a shower after defending Kal-El?
No, I just feel like Goku is overhyped. Like, and that's no... I love Dragon Ball, right? But I just feel like Goku is overhyped.
Goku is the Deus Ex Machina character.
Of anime.
I mean, well, the thing is
Well,
like,
no,
we
Saitama
said this
is
point.
the Deus Ex
We said this
Machina.
point. He is the Super Saiyan trope. The Super Saiyan trope exists for a reason.
And that is why One Punch Man exists, right? Because of Goku. I literally feel like One Punch Man exists because of the Goku trope.
See, here's the thing about One Punch Man. He never increases in power. He
because
just
he was
reveals...
already that nigga!
Yes! He just reveals more of his power, so it's like the reverse of Dragon Ball.
He was already that nigga. Saitama has been that nigga ever since he went bald. And it's like the crazy... I need to get caught up on this shit because I can't even... Like,
Apparently season 3's out, I need to watch it. So how do you feel about all of these X versus One Punch Man episodes?
The argument is null and void. You
Like, they
cannot...
throw the math out there,
It is-
and then you're like...
It's the same reason you can't include Dr. Manhattan in the who can beat Superman or Batman argument, right? Because...
Because Batman would win.
No, because fucking Dr. Manhattan is OP, son. He's mad OP. There's no way Batman wouldn't even consider, like, taking... If Dr. Manhattan went mad, I guarantee you Batman in the comic books would be like, well, we're fucked. You guys know that, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely. Batman would take the last chance to try to talk him down. But we also remember watching that clip, we were like, no, Batman don't give a fuck. Superman was down, he was like, I'm gonna run right up on Darkseid and grab him, and I'll see what I can do.
I'ma see what I can do. That is Batman's whole motif right there.
I'ma see what I can do.
I'ma see what I can do. Commissioner Gordon got a problem? I'ma see what I can do.
Yup.
Ra's al Ghul
But I mean,
at
like,
it
I
again.
love that. Like, that's one of the things I
I'ma see
love
what I
about
can do.
Batman. He's fighting like the most powerful being in the universe. He's still just like, nah, I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna grab this guy by the shoulders, try to take him down like a linebacker.
I feel like we were robbed of the Ben Affleck Batman.
We were. I feel like we really were.
I don't.
We never had a real. We never had a solo Batfleck movie.
Although
We never had a solo Batfleck movie.
I can't wait for the new Batman movie.
With Robert Pattinson?
Yes, I can't wait for the Robert Pattinson Batman. I feel like that is going to be a tasteful update to the George Clooney Batman.
But let's not talk about that. You know, if you go up to George Clooney and ask
Or
him for a
maybe-
if you go up to George Clooney on the street and ask him for a refund for that movie, he'll give it to you.
Or maybe not the George Clooney Batman, but maybe like the
Val Kilmer?
yeah,
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, the Val Kilmer Batman.
So, from what I've seen, the thing that has me very interested... How well do you know, like, iconic Batman storylines? There's, like, 3 or 4 major ones.
What kind of gatekeeper-ass question is that to ask me?
I mean, I'm not being a gatekeeper. I'm just curious. I can explain them if you want me to.
You can explain them after I go to the bathroom. Nah, so tell me about these Batman storylines.
So yeah, there's 3 major Batman storylines, or 5 major Batman storylines that I
Is
can
it
think
3
of.
or 5?
It's fine. But Death in the Family, which is the one where they killed Jason Todd. Year One, which is about him just becoming Batman. Dark Knight Returns, which is him at the very end of being Batman. No Man's Land, which is basically all of Gotham gets shut off from the outside world and gets deemed into no man's land by the government. So it's just establishing order from absolute chaos.
Jesus. So
And
it's
then-
like Chicago in like the early 1900s.
Yeah, except the government literally says you're on your own.
I'm pretty sure like Gotham is supposed to be Chicago.
I think so too, actually. But, and then the last one, which I think it is based off of, the new movie is going to be based off of, from what I've seen, is Long Halloween, which is pretty much like Batman in his prime.
Okay.
Following along a series of crimes that are following the Falcone and Carmine crime families.
Yeah.
And it involves, like, it ties in Penguin at one point, Killer Croc, Solomon Grundy, Joker, Penguin, like, and it's all tied into Batman trying to shut down these 2 crime families.
Okay.
It's personally my favorite Batman story.
I mean, it sounds like it'll make for an interesting, like, because especially, like, we're all done with, like, the beginning, like, arc of Batman. Like, we've all played the tutorial enough. We don't need to know how...
Kind of like what they did with Spider-Man this time. Like, we get it. We know Spider-Man became Spider-Man.
Right, yeah, like, we're to the point now where we're familiar... Everybody is familiar with these characters, right? There is nobody... Batman is almost... Hot take, Batman is almost as ubiquitous as Jesus at this point, right? Like, I would say that Batman
He's not as ubiquitous as Superman.
Is recognizable as Jesus. Like,
I disagree with that, but continue.
Do you really disagree with that?
The two most recognizable people on Earth are Jesus and Hitler.
I would argue that it's Jesus and Mickey Mouse, but
it's probably those 3.
I would argue that Batman is at least in the top 10 most recognizable
top 10,
characters on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, it would be up there with, like, Pikachu, Goku, and Superman.
I don't think Goku was in the top 10.
Mario?
Yes, I definitely think Mario is in the top 10. I think it's like something like Jesus, Hitler, Mickey Mouse, Ronald McDonald, 50 Cent. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, no, honestly. Pikachu, Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, the Coca-Cola like label. Maybe like the Colonel from KFC.
I mean, I guess I would say the logos stick out more. Like, the Golden Arch sticks out more than Ronald McDonald specifically.
I think Ronald McDonald is still a pretty like recognizable
Like, a toilet sticks out more than KFC. Popeye's Master Race.
I think you would have been a toilet sticks out more than Taco Bell.
No. I get Taco Bell as due. Like, just... Well, alright, cool. We'll use a dumpster for KFC. Popeye's Master Race. Popeye's Master Race.
Obviously. But no, I mean, I think that sounds like a good direction to go in with the Batman movies, especially because, like I said, we're all tired of seeing Batman's parents die.
Yeah.
Like, we get it, Martha. Like,
Pearls hit the ground.
yeah, we're all over it. Like, let's see Batman.
Bruce in the middle with the street light.
Batman's been like, or Ben Affleck's Batman was a little bit too like over the edge for me. It reminded me of like some 90s like comic shit, like Batman trying to be Punisher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So let's see what this long Halloween looks like. Is that when it's supposed to come out? Isn't it supposed to come out around then?
I don't know, but So, Batman Begins had a little bit of long Halloween structure to it. Because he was trying to take down the Maroni and... or Carmine Falcone and Sal Maroni, the two mob boss families.
Yeah, and then Ra's al Ghul got his dirty little fingers all in the mix and grubbed things up.
I love Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time. The same way I'm gonna have a hard time imagining as anybody else as Captain America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Liam Neeson, honestly, like, hindsight, was like the perfect casting for Ra's al Ghul.
Maybe like you know who? You're not gonna like who I'm gonna say. John Leguizamo.
He's a little too squirrely.
I feel like it could have been a perfect come on, like if.
Camille, I could definitely buy him as some kind of villain.
If Camille Nanjiani can put on all that weight to be like one of the Eternals and get buff, then fucking John Leguizamo...
Or Cate Blanchett just randomly becoming like a sexual goddess.
Yo, then fucking John Leguizamo could definitely have been Ra's al Ghul. Yo, right? Like,
I love John Leguizamo.
I feel like he is a way better actor than what we give him credit for.
Absolutely.
And I'm waiting for him to get his, his roses while he's still here. The same way, Johnny Knoxville deserves his roses. And the same way that, Batman doesn't deserve any roses.
Fuck you. Batman only puts roses on his parents' grave. In every single comic book as a way to end a chapter, because authors sometimes don't know how to just end a chapter. So Batman, in the rain, grasping his parents' grave, flowers there, crying.
So what you're saying is if this Batman movie doesn't end with Batman putting flowers on his
I'm saying
parents'
if there
grave,
isn't a scene that ends with that.
right, then none of this is normal.
Woo! That was good. Deuces!
Be safe, guys.
Look, it's a flood! It's a flood! It's flooding! Get away! Quick, we need to get to higher ground! Open the floodgates!
Wait, why can't we talk about Black
It is time to